Bismillah. Inna alhamdulillah, indeed all praise will be to Allah. Nahmadu. We praise Him, wa nasta'inuhu, wa nastaghfiruh. We ask for His help and we ask for His forgiveness. Wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. We seek refuge in Allah from the evil of ourselves and from the evil of our actions. May yahdi Allah fala mudilla lah, wa man yudlil fala hadiya lah. And whosoever Allah guides, nobody can misguide. And whosoever He misguides, nobody can guide. Wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahda la sharika lah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. أما بعد قال الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هذه سبيلي أدعو إلى الله على بصيرة أنا ومن اتبعني وسبحان الله وما أنا من المشركين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Okay, so how's the fasting going, everyone? Yeah, it's not that difficult, is it? That's right. So I'm not going to try to bore you too much, but I want to cover Conquest of Mecca, inshallah. So I've been asked to do that. Okay, before the migration to Mecca, yeah, so Medina, let's start here, guys, yeah. Let's just say that's Medina. And Mecca is here, yeah. Okay. We're going to that. You can see it, yeah? Okay, so how many years did the Rasulullah stay in Mecca before he went to Medina?
12 years. 13.
Are you guys kidding me? 53 years. Yeah? 53 years, brothers. That's because he was born there. He was raised there. Yeah, he got married there. He had children there. Yeah. So his attachment to Mecca is very strong. This is the place he was born. This is the place he also longed for. And he also understood that this is a place that Allah loves as well. So Mecca is very important to Rasulullah, but he had to leave that. Yeah. So in the last 13 years of the Rasulullah in Mecca, he became a prophet in the last 13 years. In the first 3 years, we call it the private dawah, because it wasn't secret. He made it very clear that he was a prophet, and he came with a deen to make it dominant in the world. Everyone knew that. At the same time, he wasn't able to go out. So in the first 3 years, he established a jama'ah, a movement. They were the Sahaba. Then they came out, isn't it? Everyone knows about that story? They came out. So in Mecca, and that was the time that they were struggling a lot. So in Mecca, these are the kind of realities that Rasulullah was going through in Mecca. There was a lot of struggle. He struggled a lot. Probably the most difficult struggle was the struggle that he saw his own companions going through. When you struggle yourself, it's not as bad. When you see your own child or your son or your friend or them struggling, people that you have closeness to, that makes it more difficult. So he saw the struggle of Bilal ibn Rabah, yeah, on the stone, the iron, I think the big massive stone that was put on. What about Sumayyah, the first martyr of Islam? Yeah, what about Yasir, the husband? They were killed. Yeah. So these kind of things, these are the kind of memories he had, the very struggling memories in the last 13 years in Mecca. Yeah. Now, there's a discussion that happened, and that's a contemporary discussion, that apparently the Rasulullah was kicked out of Mecca. He ran away like a refugee. And he found asylum in Medina. That's a narration that a lot of people do talk about. But is that true? I want to see what brothers are saying. Yeah? No? You're saying it's not true. Okay, I'll give you narration. And you tell me if it's true. The Rasulullah said, by Allah, he was talking about Mecca, you are the best land of Allah and the most beloved of land to Allah. And if I had not been expelled from you, I would not have left. So he was expelled, was he? So how do you reconcile that with that the Rasulullah went to Medina? And the scholars discussed that as well. It's an interesting discussion. They were talking about that Rasulullah did struggle. The reason we know that he did not leave because he was going through a lot of struggle. He did not leave. But his Sahaba left, his companions left. They went to Abyssinia. From the rich like Abdurrahman ibn Auf, from the poor like Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, yeah, from the nobles like Uthman ibn Affan, his own daughter who was married to Uthman ibn Affan, they went to Abyssinia. But he Sallallahu did not leave. So he had to struggle. He was commanded to struggle in that. He was not going to leave. So we understand from there was a verse that came down that he was actually commanded to leave later. He was told in a dream, he was told to leave, go to Medina. That's when he was waiting for that. So we know that it was a command from Allah to leave, to go to Medina. And we know what was taking place in Medina. Medina, he sent Musab ibn Umair. And Musab ibn Umair got Medina ready. So he was waiting for the readiness of Medina, when to go and what? To become the head of state. He didn't go as a refugee, an asylum seeker. He went there as a head of state, because Musab ibn Umair got the society ready within a year. And that is a discussion that some people say about, some say that we need the Rasul to establish a state, to establish the Dawla. Musab ibn Umair did it in 1 year. And he followed the instructions of Rasul. So this is an example that we are supposed to follow the same instructions of Rasulullah to establish the Dawla. So he went there, and that's what the scholars mentioned, that he was expelled out and all that is because of the persecution. Because they were in the last one, they want to assassinate Rasulullah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved him from that. Yeah. And that's why the scholars mention that the migration from Mecca to Medina, yeah. So it was discussed by Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. Everyone knows that. In his Fath al-Bari, he talks about it's the epoch of the times, the epoch of the age. This is when the calendar of the Islamic calendar starts. Yeah, the Islamic calendar. Let me write that here. That's when the Islamic calendar starts. When Rasulullah migrated to Al-Medina. And Medina at the time is called Yathrib. Yeah, Medina means the city. Now, I want to touch upon a few things. I'm going to give you the numbers here, guys. 7, 8. I need you to answer these things, yeah? So what are these? These are the, when I put AH in it, what does that mean? That's right. So 1 year after Hijrah, 2 years after Hijrah, yeah? Let's go through these dates, because I want this to be interactive. So what you know what's happening. So Rasulullah went to Medina, and he established the Dawla there. Now, after the first year, the masjid was established. Yeah, the Masjid al-Nabawi was established. The brotherhood was established between the Ansar, yeah, Ansar and the Muhajirun, the Ansar who lived there, and the Muhajirun that came over. What happened in the second Hijrah? Yeah, after Hijrah, what happened then? Battle of Badr. All right, you know too much, bro. I've seen him. He keeps on answering. I've noticed that. All right. We need to give other brothers a chance. So when no one talks, then you can say it. Yeah, so Battle of Badr. That's right. The second of Hijrah, the Battle of Badr happened. We covered that last week, wasn't it? Yeah, everyone remembers that. We are now, and what day was the Battle of Badr? What day in Ramadan? 17th of Ramadan, mashallah. That's right. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we're going to go into Mecca because this is the time, we're now in the 12th, isn't it? 12th, 13th, yeah? So this is the time when he was going to Mecca. Yeah, but we'll come into the Mecca time when he going to Conquest Mecca. Now, so that's Battle of Badr. What happened the third of the third, yeah, the third year after Hijrah? Anyone know?
Was it the wife of Prophet Khadija?
No. See, that's the year of the sorrow, eighth year. All right, let's go. Yeah, so what was the next battle after Battle of Badr, guys? Uhud. Yeah, Uhud. So that's right. So the Battle of Uhud. Okay, so then on the fourth year, the fourth year is called Badr al-Maw'id, Battle of Maw'id. But that's basically in Uhud. They sort of like it was called. Some say Rasulullah lost. Some say it was an equal. They both came to an agreement. Left about, but they decided to come the next year to face the Rasulullah. So Rasulullah actually went to face them in the same place again. Some say Badr, some say Uhud. But the Quraysh did not turn up. So it's a battle that the Quraysh never turned up. It's called, Badr Mu'id, yeah? That's the one. Okay, the fifth. That's a famous one as well, yeah? And what happened on the fifth? Trench. That's right. Battle of Ahzab. Ahzab is a plural of Hizb. Ahzab means groups. So the groups, all of them came together, you know. There's a famous Battle of Ahzab. Six. That's an important one that I'm going to talk about as well a bit. What happened six? MashaAllah, you know what? I don't want to say anything to the Sheikh, you know. All right, Treaty of Hudaybiyah. That's right. Let's see. Brothers, you're learning something here right now that you're going to take it for the rest of your life. That's why learn it. Try to memorize it because these are something that it's not, we're not talking about current situation and like that. We're talking about something that is very well known. It's in a part of our history. So Treaty of Hudaybiyah happened at 6th year after Hijrah. Now, yeah. So what that is strongly related to what happened in the 8th year. What happened in the 8th year was the conquest of Mecca. That's what we're going to be talking about. My handwriting is really rubbish, guys. Conquest of Mecca. What happened in the 8th year? That's what we're going to be talking about. So the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. This is the treaty that Rasulullah made with the Quraysh, and a lot of the Sahaba, majority of the Sahaba did not like it. One of the known ones was Umar al-Khattab, because it was, one of the condition was that when one of the person becomes Muslim, and he tries to come to Medina, he is not allowed to come to Medina from Mecca. He has to get permission, so he wasn't allowed, and that wasn't right. So those guys did something. There was some benefits of that as well, yeah. So that's one of the things. But if someone left Rasulullah of the Quraysh, they can stay. So it didn't look fair. There's a lot of compromise that the Sahaba felt that Rasulullah made. But what we do understand by the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, it was actually a hukum shari. It was an obligation that Rasulullah had to establish. Yeah, that it was a command from Allah Subhanahu wa Taala that this treaty had to be done. And that's why a lot of the things, it may not be, but overall we know it was a success. Fathul Mubina, we'll go into that, yeah? The conquest of the conquest, victory. Now, that was for 10 years. They agreed that they will not be fighting. The fighting stopped with the Quraysh. And they also put the Rasulullah Islam as a head of state. He was recognized as a head of state. And that public opinion became very strong. That he was able, this man, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, from a place in Mecca, yeah, that he was struggling, they wanted to kill him. Now he's the head of state. You see, now that created a public opinion in the area. People are starting to know who this, this greatest man is, yeah, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Now, 10 years was given. Now then, it doesn't mean the Rasulullah stopped. Remember the purpose, the Rasulullah had a mission. The mission is to take this deen to the rest of the world. Remember in the very beginning, the verses that was revealed, Rahmatullah al-Alameen, that he was the message for the whole world. That was very early. So that people knew that Rasulullah came for the world. So much so even the Quraysh used to mock the Sahaba. They used to say, look at these guys, look at these two. It was this movement, the Prophet, they said that the Muhammad and his party, yeah? And they said, these are the people that's going to take over Khosrows of Persia and Heraclius of Rome. They used to mock that. For them to mock like that, it means they knew what they were about. They were about to take the world. Yeah, that was it. They knew this. And that's why Rasulullah, just because the Treaty of Hudaybiyah happened in Quraysh, it didn't stop. Rasulullah in the 7th year was the Battle of Khaybar, Battle of Khaybar. In that year also, he sent letters to the kings, letters to the delegates. So now, conquest of Mecca, that was not what we say was a plan that was going to take place. Yeah, that happened because something happened here. So in the agreement was also that those who are agreed with the ally of Quraysh, yeah, and the allies of Rasulullah Islam, they can't fight. So the allies of Quraysh cannot fight the allies of Rasulullah Islam. And this is what happened. Two groups, yeah, are called the Banu Bakr tribe, Banu Bakr, yeah? And the other one is Banu Khuza'ah. Khuza'ah. Okay, Banu Bakr belonged to the Quraysh. Yeah? They were allied with the Quraysh. And the Banu Khuza'ah were allied with Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. They decided to attack them. And that would break the contract because they are the allies of the Quraysh and this is the allies. They're not supposed to fight each other. But why did they do that? So some of the scholars mention that the reason they did that is because Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in the battle of Mu'tah, this was also there. That happened there as well, yeah? You know where Jafar ibn Abi Talib passed away? Yeah? So, and Khalid bin Walid bin Batuni was known as the Saifullah. He actually got them out there. But that defeat, some scholars say it affected the standing of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and therefore they can actually they can make the weak more by attacking one of the allies, and that way involves the Rasulullah to fight back, and they will lose if it happens. But Rasulullah, obviously the fight didn't happen in that one, yeah. So Banu Bakr, they attacked Banu Khuza'ah, and some say about 30 were killed in that. Banu Khuza'ah came to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and they said they'd been attacked. They knew exactly who it was. They tried to do it, secretly, but they got caught out. So one of the chiefs came to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and said, "This is what happened." So Rasulullah Islam made it very clear that he's going to defend them. There was some beautiful discussion that took place between the chief of Banu Khuza'ah and Rasulullah. They reminded each other of the past, how Rasulullah was linked to them, like the great one of the grandmas of Rasulullah was related to them, yeah. And they had also contracts, Quraysh and the Khuza'ah had contracts in the past. Now Rasulullah agreed that he's going to deal with it. That means the contract is broken. And the Quraysh, yeah. So the Quraysh, they decided, they tried to renegotiate the treaty. They felt scared. They said they were now worried what happened. They found out that we did it, and so they sent Abu Sufyan to the Rasul, okay, to renegotiate a contract. Okay, let's go into that now. All right, everyone's okay with this so far, yeah? We're following, yeah? Am I on time? Okay, that's good. Okay, let's go to that now. So they sent Abu Sufyan, and Abu Sufyan is who? He's the chief of the Quraysh, one of the chiefs. Yeah, let's make sure I'm touching all that. Okay, Abu Sufyan. He became Muslim later, yeah. So Abu Sufyan was the chief of the Quraysh. He was sent by them as a delegate to renegotiate the contract. He first met his daughter. Who's the daughter? Daughter was Habiba, yeah. So that's his daughter. So the daughter was married to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, yeah. I think her name was Ramla, yeah. So he came to Habiba, and they haven't seen each other a very long time, for years, yeah. So there's a famous, you guys need to be aware that he tried to sit down on one of the blankets of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and she moved away. Then he said, "Oh, my daughter, why are you moving that way? Because it's not honorable to me, or is it that it's not honorable? That is not honorable to me, I'm not honorable enough to that." And she said, "You're dirty." The discussion is quite funny as well. Then she said that she can't do anything. The Rasulullah decided matter. She can't do anything, and he leaves the place and he goes, "You haven't changed one bit." So he leaves the place and then he goes to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So there's different narrations in order, yeah. So he went to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam after. So he went to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Then Rasulullah just rejected him. Yeah, he went to the mosque. This is where the Rasulullah and Rasulullah, different narrations. Some narrations he didn't even acknowledge him. Then he decided to go to Abu Bakr. That is one of those funny scenes, isn't it? So he went to Abu Bakr, And Abu Bakr just ignored. I said, there's no way that he's going to speak on his behalf to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then he went to Omar. Omar was the most harshest person. What, you? You think you what you did to us? You know, he was like, get him. So he went. So he couldn't get Omar to convince him. Then he went to Ali, and with Ali there was some more discussion because they were related. There's some narrations that they because the tribes are related, they're more close. That's the closest tribe. And Fatima was the wife of Ali. So he tried to convince Ali. Ali said, "There's no way he's when Rasulullah decided the matter, it ain't gonna work." Then went to Fatima, and Fatima, he actually asked Fatima to ask her son to go to Rasulullah and convince him. Right? He was desperate. So they all rejected him. Ali gave the idea that he should go outside and tell others. Someone might give him security and help him. No one did. He actually went outside. It's a big humiliation. This is Abu Sufyan. So he went back and he told the Quraysh, "No, man, I couldn't stop it." And that was it. So now Rasulullah was getting the army ready. Okay, this is getting ready to conquer Mecca. Yeah. So the next thing that Rasulullah was getting in the army told everyone that we are preparing for a war, but he would not tell them where the war is going to be. People assume it's going to be in Mecca. Others said it might be because back to the Romans to deal with the Mu'tah. Yeah. So there was that, and some people thought that Rasulullah already negotiated the contract, so there can't be another war with the Quraysh. But remember, going back to Quraysh is a big deal. I mean, Mecca is a big deal because they're from Mecca. Muhajirun are from Mecca. It's emotional, major emotional attachment. If Rasulullah did say that, it could cause the stigma might come out because he wanted to go into Mecca without warning, without giving them any warning, or the Quraysh any warning. Okay. So Rasulullah told everyone to get ready. We're going to go into a war. Yeah. And something happened. So on the way, the day before going, he told everyone that we're going to go to Mecca. And everyone, people were very happy to go to Mecca. So on the way to go to Mecca, something happened. Yeah, and I want to just touch upon that. Yeah. Anyone know this name? Hatib ibn Abi Balta'i, yeah? Balta'a. Yeah? A Sahabi. Okay, so good. That means good. You're going to learn things, inshallah, yeah? So, Hatib was one of the Sahaba, yeah? He actually tried to inform the Quraysh. He tried to inform the Quraysh that the Rasulullah is coming. He's making his way. He tried to inform the Quraysh. And there's no way anyone's going to stop it. Because the way he hid it on someone's, a woman's, his letter, he hid on a woman's khimar, underneath the khimar. Even she didn't know because she was going to Mecca, even she didn't know what the message was about. But it was a wahi from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that told the Rasulullah that there's someone's informing the Quraysh. And the letter was that woman. And then Ali radiallahu anh found that woman, brought her back, got the letter, and the Sahaba were furious because on Hatib. Yeah. So why would the Sahaba like to do that? Yeah, and then Umar Khattab he wanted to kill him. Umar Khattab says, no, he needs to be gone. He went against you, Ya Rasulullah. And Rasulullah told Umar to go out. Yeah, let me do. And he started asking Hatib, and Hatib asked Hatib, why did you do that? Hatib did it because he had his family there. The family was there, and he wanted to protect the family. And he didn't think it was going to be that big. He just wanted to protect his family. But he informed the Quraysh because the Quraysh can give them protection. So if you give them a favor, so that way they will protect them because his family didn't have protection in the tribal time. He needed protection, so he thought that the Quraysh would give him a protection. That's why he did it. And then the Rasulullah was thinking about the punishment, and then Umar said he needs to be, punished one way or another. And Rasulullah nope, He's a Badri. That's an honor. That's another thing you're going to learn. Out of the Sahabas, yeah, some say the highest after the Ashara Mubashara, the highest is a Badri. What's a Badri? Yeah, he fought in Badr. Because he fought in Badr, Rasulullah said, no, he's forgiven because Jibreel said to him that those who fought in Badr are forgiven in their future. So he just let Hatim go. SubhanAllah, isn't it? This is one of the great honors of, and that's Hatib. Remember the Hatim ibn Abi Balta'a. Okay, so when the Rasul started going, and on the way going to leaving Mecca, he gathered so many people, so many. We're going to go into numbers later, yeah? So many on the way. While leaving from Mecca, he left the Medina, left on the outskirts of Medina. A hukum came about. That was in Ramadan. He left in Ramadan. Some say 10th of Ramadan, some say 11th, some say until 17th. So it's one of those dates, yeah? But he left on that day of Ramadan. So they were what? What were they doing? They were fasting. They were fasting. And that's the 8th year. So the fasting became obligatory in the second Hijrah. That's when fasting became obligatory. So they've been fasting for a long time. So in Ramadan, they were fasting and then they going to Medina. Now, a hukum came about. What was the hukum? About traveling, isn't it? So you don't have to fast while you're traveling. And the rules of jihad as well. So Rasulullah told the Sahaba that once he left the Medina outskirts, he told them, you can break your fast. They broke their fast. It wasn't that the next day they didn't fast, they just broke their fast. So this is a hukum that's why the scholars mentioned that when you become a traveler, so you become a traveler not when you actually gone to that place, when you left your own area, your own vicinity, old city. Yeah, that's the general rule anyway. Some differed, but that's the general rule. So that's when they started fasting. Yeah, broke the fast. Now, on the way, other tribes joined them. Yeah, so the numbers became how many? Became 10,000 near, or more or so. 10,000 people traveling from Medina to Mecca. Yeah, think about it. Subhanallah, the 10,000 people going from there. So they settled in the outskirts of Mecca. They camped basically in the outskirts of Mecca. And this is where the spies of Quraysh saw them. And Rasulullah told them to camp and make a fire. Thousands of campfires, yeah? Thousands of campfires. The Quraysh can see. Think about 10,000 people. This is something Rasulullah actually initiated, told them to do that, in order so the Quraysh can see who the numbers are. So the scholars even Kathir mentions this, yeah? He said the reason these kind of things were Rasulullah did not want a fighting, didn't want qital, he didn't want actual physical fighting. He wanted no fighting to take because Mecca is not just any new land here. Muhajirun, there's a lot of emotional links there. So the idea is that he did not want a war. He did not want actual fighting. And so he wanted to create a fear on the Quraysh that their numbers are great. Do not fight. You will not beat us. You will not beat us. That kind of. Abu Sufyan was one of the people that saw that. Yeah. So for some reason, Abu Sufyan, when I read about his life, there's just some amusement in it. Yeah. So Abu Sufyan, he saw that and he got caught. He was secretly saying he got caught watching that. And he got caught by Al-Abbas. And Abbas caught him and brought him in. So he got caught, brought in, and Abbas said he'll give him security. Umar ibn Khattab said, what are you doing? What's this guy doing? And Abbas gave him security, and Abu Sufyan he actually saw the camp, and he's like, wow, look at this. And then he went to Rasulullah and he became Muslim. That's when he became Muslim. And people say, wow, he became Muslim? So there's some doubt, but you can't have that, because once it's accepted that he became Muslim with the Rasulullah, by the Rasulullah. But even Rasulullah said to Abbas, make him go up the mountain, let him see the battalions. Yes, he had to see the armies that's gonna take over conquer Mecca. So Abbas took Abu Sufyan to a mountain, and they saw the battalions, and that's when he said, "Wow, who are these? Who are these people? Who are these people? Everyone's going against us." Yeah, he saw different tribes in it. And the discussion is like, "What's going on here? We don't have a problem with these these tribes? Why are they becoming with Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam?" So that discussion just has made me laugh because he's going, "What's going on here? Everyone wants to go become part of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam army." So Abu Sufyan saw that and goes, "You know what? This is there's no way we're going to beat them." Yeah. And then one of the Sahaba, I think Sa'd ibn Ubaid, he saw Abu Sufyan and he said, let me quote here. He said, "Ya Abu Sufyan, al-yawm yawm al-malhama, al-yawm tushalla al-Ka'bah." Yeah, this is he's saying, "Oh Abu Sufyan, today is the day of the great battle. Today is the day when the sanctuary of the Kaaba would be violated." Yeah, he's trying to bring him. And then Rasulullah heard that, or some said it came back to him. He said, "Khazab Sa'ad." Yeah, his Khaz has said something mistaken. وَلَكِنَّ هَذَا يَوْمْ يُعَزِّمُ اللَّهُ فِيهِ الْكَعْبَةِ. Sa'ad has mistaken, has lied or mistaken, but this is the day in which Allah will glorify the Kaaba. So Rasulullah wants to make sure that there's not going to be a fighting. So again, these are indications to show that Rasulullah was not willing to fight. And he actually replaced Sa'ad. The different narrations, some say he wasn't, some say he did. He replaced Sa'ad with his son Conquest. Conquest took over. So he was the leader. There's 4 battalions, and one of them was led by Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. One was led by Khalid bin Walid. One was Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah, and the other one was Qais, or some say Qais, and his dad Sa'd ibn Ubaidah. So they led the 4, and this was something that thing he saw. All that, and he thought, "There's no way he's going to be there's no way they're going to confront the army of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam." And then when they went, this is the so the Rasulullah came. So he came to Mecca, he came near Mecca, and there's 4 armies, the 4 battalions. Yeah, let's go to 4 of them. Yeah, I got this thingy from on the internet. I don't know if it's authentic or not. Yeah, but the battalions were they did it like this. There's one like that and one like that, and there's the mountain of Safa. This is the mountain of Safa, and that's the Mecca entry of Mecca. Yeah, and you have the Kaaba there. Yeah, this is the Kaaba there, and so the Rasulullah had one. One of the leaders was Khalid bin Walid. Then the other one was Qais ibn Sa'd ibn Ubaidah and Abu Ubaidah ibn Jarrah. 4 battalions. They were told to go different ways. Rasulullah went that way, and they're told to meet at Safa. Yeah. So you can see the plan, isn't it? The kind of plan to take over and to minimize any confrontation. So Rasulullah actually warned them that do not. The heads of the thing is not to go into any fighting. Yeah. And he also told Abu Sufyan. The Psalmist said to Abu Sufyan enters there. He went back to Mecca and he told Abu Sufyan, said this, and he said, "This is when Rasulullah was coming. They were on the outskirts, and Abu Sufyan warned them. So this is part of that plan to make sure that they're aware they should not be fighting. So this is what he said: This is Muhammad, who has come to you with a force you cannot resist. He who enters Abu Sufyan's house is safe, and who locks his door is safe, and he who enters the masjid is safe." So he's given the warning that there's sanctuary for you guys, amnesty for those people who don't fight. Yeah. So that's when then the Rasul came, and people went into the houses. I don't know if you guys saw the film Messenger. Yeah, they actually depict it quite well as well. People ran into the houses. Yeah, and the Rasul came. And one of the battalions, Khalid bin Walid, yeah, his battalion, and it's he's probably one of the hardest because this is Khalid bin Walid. Yeah. Some of them confront him, and apparently they'll Bani Bakr, some of the people from there, they confront him. He just destroys them, and then they run away. And that's the only skirmish that happened. Yeah, there's no other. Everyone else managed to come through, and there was no fighting. And then the Rasul came next to the Kaaba, and he was on his camel. and he did tawaf on his camel, going around the Kaaba. And then he came down, and then he addressed the people. Some say he addressed from the mountain of Safa. Others say he addressed in front of the Kaaba. So there's two narrations on that, yeah. And this is what he said to them, and this is what he said. He's recited the Quran. Ya ayyuhan nas inna khalaqnakum min zakariya wal untha. O you people, indeed we created you from a male and a female and made you into peoples and tribes so that you may get to know each other. Surely the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous among you. And then he said to the people, O Quraysh, what do you think I am about to do to you? And they replied, you do good. You are a noble brother and a son of a noble brother. And then he said to them, go your way, for you are free. You are talaqa. You are free. Meaning that Rasulullah gave them amnesty. Yeah. So everyone's given amnesty except there was exception. Yeah. Anyone know what the exception was? Yeah. Yeah. There was a list of individuals that Rasulullah targeted. And what was that? Yes, if you want to call it hit list, that's right. Remember, Rasulullah is a state, and there are some individuals that did more. It wasn't because they were, some say it was because no, because they did, there's some murtads involved. They betrayed the state. They mocked Rasulullah. They were targeted. But some of them, we know narrated, some said there were 12 of them, some said there were 6. It's different narrations, yeah. But one of them, I think the famous one was Ikrimah ibn Abi Jahl. Yeah, so he was actually targeted to be killed, but he managed to escape, and he actually had an experience. Some say he went on a boat, and he was saved on the boat. He said, if Allah saves me, then I will become Muslim. So he became Muslim. He was saved in that boat. Then he came to Rasulullah. He didn't came to Rasulullah and gave his shahada. So he was saved. So a lot of them didn't get killed. Yeah, only some of them. I think most of them were forgiven. Yeah, so that was one of the famous ones. So everyone was forgiven except those individuals. And then the Rasul told the Sahaba, go to the Kaaba, go into the Kaaba and destroy those 360 idols. And the Rasul himself destroyed some of them. And while he was destroying them, he said this ayat of the Quran. وَقُلْ جَاءَ الْحَقُّ وَزَهَقَ الْبَاطِلِ إِنَّ بَاطِلَ كَانَ زَهُوقًا. And declare and say, the truth has come and falsehood has vanished. Indeed, falsehood is bound to vanish. That's the clash. That's the issue of when the truth comes, the falsehood has no stance. And that's Rasulullah destroyed the Kaaba, destroyed these idols and purified the Kaaba, and even some pictures as well of apparently Ibrahim and his children. All that was removed on them as well. Another thing happened was that Khalid bin Walid, he was asked to go and kill Uzza. There's a different narration. I found it in Bayhaqi. I don't know if authenticity. Some say they use it because we're not as strict in the seerah. So Khalid bin Walid was told by Rasulullah to go and kill Al-Uzza. Al-Uzza was on the outlines of the Mecca area. The Uzza, the female god, their female god Al-Uzza. So he went and killed. Apparently, what happened before he went there, the Quraysh people actually put an axe on Al-Uzza and said to, and there's written next to it saying, "Now you fight." Yeah. So obviously Al-Uzza is idol and how can it fight? So they came and destroyed. Khalid bin Walid came and destroyed it, and he came back to Rasulullah and said, "I've destroyed it. I've destroyed all the idols and purified them." Because no, you haven't. Go back. So this is a weak. Some say it's a weak narration, but it's an interesting one. He went back, and he actually saw Al-Uzza, the jinn Al-Uzza, the female jinn Al-Uzza. Yeah, and he killed her. Then he came back, and it was done. So that's I don't know. That's narration. I don't know. You actually saw a jinn. Yeah. So there. I thought I'll just put that in, guys. You can. Some say it's weak. Some say it's accepted, but I don't know. Khalid bin Walid dealt with it. Okay, but this conquest, like I mentioned, it wasn't a massive celebration. It wasn't that kind of celebration, yeah, because they returned back to their people, where they lived, isn't it? And that's why the narration mentioned that they were not into, like celebrating, like, yeah, alhamdulillah, all that. They were actually into ibadah. They were doing tawaf on the Kaaba. A lot of them were doing zikr. They weren't amongst themselves. They were just individually. A lot of them doing the zikr and all that, because they were being grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that they managed, after all that, they managed to um, uh, conquer Mecca, basically, come back into Mecca. And that's the main point. I started about how the struggles that the Rasul went through in Mecca in the beginning, when he became a prophet. That 13 years of struggle, how he saw his Sahaba, how they saw the struggle they're going through, the boycott, and now they've conquered Mecca, and that is the victory, that they realize that the victory is truly in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This wasn't even in the plan I talked about. It wasn't in the plan that they would just do the conquest of Mecca. It happened because the Banu Bakr and Banu Suja'a, they started fighting, and the Quraysh broke the contract. That was it. Rasulullah took 10,000, think about it, hardly any Muslims in the first battle of Badr. Yeah? And Rasulullah made that dua, isn't it? If you don't save us in the battle of Badr, no one will worship. And here 10,000 came to Mecca, and they were settled. And this is the victory. Victory is truly from Allah. You do what you need to do. You do what is required of you to do. They followed Rasulullah, they followed his command. They went to Mecca, no fighting. And I just want to end on the last final bit, yeah, before we go into Q&A, if there's any. So the Ansar, this is the sad part. The Ansar thought that Rasulullah was going to stay. Yeah, and it's quite, think about it. You're back to your land, you're back to your home. Why would you want to go back? Yeah, so they were a bit sad. And this is what Rasulullah said. Yeah, this is Arabic. Inni Abdullahi wa Rasulu. I am the servant of Allah and His messenger. Hajaratu lillahi wa ilaykum. I made hijrah to Allah and to you. Wa mahyakum wal mamatu mamatukum. Life is with you, death is with you. Yeah. So they came crying. They realized, and the Rasulullah decided to go back with them. Yeah. So he stayed 19 days, or some say 19, some say less than that. He stayed in Mecca. A lot of delegations came about. A lot of people came about. A lot of delegations. Basically, the whole of Arabian Peninsula became Muslim in a way. All of the tribes leaders they came in delegations, and that's why there's a verse, is the surah, إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح وليس الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفر إنه كان توابا. Yeah, that verse, and we recite that a lot. Isn't the verse when Allah's help comes and the victory is achieved, and this is a victory. They said it's a victory over Mecca. Those scholars say that was the victory of Mecca. إذا جاء نصر الله, the Nasr of Allah, والفتح, and the Fatan, the conquest of Mecca. Yeah, and then وَرَأَيْتَ النَّاسِ, you see the people يَدْخُلُونَ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا, and you see the people embracing Allah's deen in crowds. Victory led to that. So many people coming in the deen, and then be praised, glorify the praise of your Lord, and seek His forgiveness, for certainty He is ever accepting and of repentance. وَخِرْ دَوَانَا أَنِ الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ.